Yo, yo, yo. What's good? Maximus here. All right. Trying something a little different here. This is a bit of an experiment on my podcast called The Social Experiment. So I figured I'd play with it and do it live. Why am I doing that? Because it's my show. I can do what I want. You know what I'm saying? All right. Trying to see if yep, I'm live. That's a beautiful thing. I'm also trying this from my laptop instead of my phone. See, my phone is actually right here. Because I bought a new laptop, so I was like, let me give it a shot. I'm probably gonna get a better camera and do a whole mic setup, which will definitely be down the line. Um, also, and I have a lot of people who I've discussed dating in today's world. So I figured I would jump on here and just talk about it for a little minute. I might not keep this but too long because I do have other stuff to do. Fourth of July weekend. Well, Fourth of July is tomorrow. Today's the third. So here I am on here. And yeah. So anyway, I'm just doing a little bit of shareage. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and I mean, most importantly, gotta open that up. Oh my God, what am I doing with my life? Actually, no, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, sorry about that, y'all. See, I'm not used to using this on the computer. So, anyway, let me see here. Wanna get this started? All this noise. I tell you, your phone is nosy because your phone will start playing something based on I don't even know what the fuck sometimes, and I'll be like, "Nah, bro, I want to do this," but instead it'll just keep trying to play something else. I don't know. It's the damnedest thing. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna jump into this because I know nobody expects me to be on, and I come on at some random times. So more than likely, people will see this later and they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't know you was even on," and I'll be like, "Yeah, I was on there. I was up there running my mouth, talking my shit like I do." And it's the weirdest thing. It says it's live on YouTube too, which it should be. But when I go to the page, it's not showing. Ah, here we go. Beautiful. So that's what I like. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry for the dragged out beginnings. Like I said, I'm trying to get my life together with this whole thing. And in order for me to do that, it's requiring me to kind of fuck around a little bit. But yeah. So I've had some really good conversations in regards to people discussing modern dating and as far as marketplace value because I found that a lot of people aren't 100% aware of where they really stand where it comes to their dating marketplace value because in truth a lot of people don't understand what it means when you're talking about dating marketplace. Now sometimes people can take offense to that because they'll be like, what do you mean? I'm not some item, I'm not some product. I'm a person. I have value as an individual. True. Every individual has their own personal value sets based on what their self worth is. Now, your self worth is different from your dating marketplace value because a marketplace is driven by demand based on what the majority of said individuals who are interested in the product that you have are asking for. Now, yes, I'm making it sound very mechanical and very businesslike, but in reality, that's what it is. It's plain and simply a matter of figuring out what it is that you're offering based on what the marketplace is asking for. It's kind of like when you open a business. When you open a business, you want your business to actually reflect things that are actually asked for in today's environment. So you don't want to be out here talking about, oh, I'm going to offer, let's say, you don't want to talk about you're going to offer, um, for example, you want to offer carrots. But in reality, there's nobody really asking for carrots. So you're now offering a thing that is totally unnecessary to offer because nobody's asking for that. See, in a situation like that, you want to look back and think to yourself and be like, damn, I need to make sure that I'm offering something that people actually want to purchase or that people actually want to engage with or that people want to have. Like, if you're in today's society, you might look and say, oh, well, I'm old fashioned. Let's say you're a lady, you're old fashioned, you're waiting for marriage, blah, 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 blah. That's cool and that's respectable. I wouldn't knock that at all. But the fact of the matter is that how many people are actually going to want to deal with you because you're an individual that's waiting for marriage. You're going to find that your dating marketplace value is not great. Or even when it comes to physical attributes, you have to also realize, like, one mistake I find a lot of women do, like, they'll kind of treat dating like, oh, there's always a tomorrow. There's always a tomorrow. Oh, well, if this guy don't want to fuck with me, then fuck it. Whatever. I'll just get with this one. And I'll see what's up with that one tomorrow or whatever. But it don't always work that way. Because in reality, somebody else could very easily step into your spot. Somebody easily can take over where it is that you wanted to leave off at simply because you refuse to put the effort through to actually deal with said person. Those are the kind of things that you don't want to have happen to you where you're left pretty much holding the ball, as they say, because you make the mistake of thinking that what you want is what they want. And that's not how that works. So the way that I go about this is I always advise people, I say, listen, if you want to engage with a certain level of individual, if you want, for example, a lot of times women will say they want a certain type of man, they want him to be this tall, they want him to be whatever kind of earner, they want him to have whatever other features they may care about that are relevant to that. Okay, you have a right to want whatever you want. But you have to ask yourself, based on this criteria, what is the percentage of men that is going to fall into that? And then based on that criteria, what's the probability that you can acquire said man under the terms in which you want to acquire him? Because all of these are factors. You know, I know people don't like to think of dating in terms of facts and figures and numbers. And sometimes when I talk facts and figures and numbers, it can get a person's eyes to start crossing a little bit because, a lot of people get deer in the headlights um, when it comes to that because they're like, oh God, he's making this about numbers or making no, but you have to understand that this will help to simplify your life in a lot of ways because you don't want to be in a situation where you keep hitting a brick wall and you can't figure out um, what's going on. So then you say, oh, it's got to be something wrong with them. It's got to be something they're doing wrong because there's nothing wrong with me. I'm right. I'm perfect. Whatever. I'm that chick or I'm that dude. Well, once again, the numbers will say if you're really that chick or that dude, you're gonna find that you won't have such a difficulty acquiring a partner. Typically, when you are, the problem is you ain't really that chick or that dude. More than likely, you are lacking in some way, shape, or form. The question is what is it that it is that you are lacking? That's what you have to figure out. So I say you should start off with certain factors. Ask yourself, and this is why social media is beautiful. A lot of people downtrodden, they beat down social media a lot. Like they knock social media a hell of a lot because they're like, oh, social media puts a negative spin on this. Oh, social media um, creates a negative aspect as far as dating goes. Oh, no. Let me tell you something about social media and the reason why I like social media. I like social media because social media just shines a light on things that have been happening forever. Like people will say, oh, this person is only cheating because of the influences of social media on them. And to them, I would say, um, and to them, I would say, really? So you don't think people were cheating before then? Bullshit. They've been cheating. The fact of the matter is it's now more out there. So of course you see more people cheating now because now it's out there. It's a more wide open situation. It's not just something hiding behind hiding in the wings somewhere. It's legit something that you can see smacking you right in the face day by day, every time you get on, you got somebody talking that shit. And the fact of the matter is that if you want things to improve, you got to learn to use the tools that you have available. Social media is a great one. Now, to get back on the social media train, with social media, you look around, pay attention to what people are saying in regards to dating. It's kind of like I said, again, going back to what I said earlier, opening a business. Look at the things that are in demand. Yes, in my circles, I see a lot of people are not big on the whole monogamy thing anymore. There are still a lot of people who are, but it's not as dominant a situation as it once was. So now, with that being said, you have to consider okay, it's not popping like it once was. The question is that something that's right for me? Am I only saying that I want this because I want this and it's only about what I want? And that's great if you're dating yourself. I'm using the monogamy thing as an example. It's an extreme example, but it's an example because you have to be honest with yourself. You have to ask yourself, what is it that you want? What is it that you desire? And then match it with what's out there and what they want and what they desire. Because you want to attract, not run away. Even if you're saying, oh, well, I prefer my quantity doesn't have to be high as long as my quality is. That's great. But also, you have to come with realistic expectations. Like, okay, you can have this one thing as an expectation, but what are you willing to sacrifice if it came down to negotiating, saying, okay, well, I'm cool with this, but I'm not cool with that. What kind of um, agreements and compromises are you willing to make your relationship work? Because all of that is relevant. You can't tell me that you expect to have a relationship where you legit have no whatsoever, and I mean none. When you have no compromises, it literally has to fall into exactly what you want, or it just ain't gonna happen. If that's the case, I'm gonna tell you now, it's not gonna fly. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's just not gonna happen. If you want things to actually progress in your relationship dynamics, you have to be willing to ask yourself, okay, what kind of compromises can I make to make this work? Especially if you see that you've been struggling to acquire a partner. What have you been doing different? I will say one of the things that I did notice, and this is something that I noticed just on a personal level, with a lot of people, and let me know how I sound and stuff when you come on here, because I'm trying it from my laptop instead of my phone. I know my phone camera is a lot better, but I just want to try it from the laptop because I bought this and I wanted to see if I need to put an HD camera on this or whatever I need to do, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so like I said, you have to be willing to compromise. If you're not willing to compromise in your relationships, it doesn't matter how many things you check off on the boxes. There's always going to be things that don't match up. And sometimes it's okay if you don't match up on it, if it doesn't work out, or if y'all don't match per se. That's all right because there's no requirement that says that you have to match up with somebody. There's nothing that says that it's a foregone conclusion that because y'all both find each other physically attractive, that everything else just should come into play. No. But like I said, you have to recognize what it is that you want and what it is that the partners that you're interested in or the type of men that you're interested in. For example, ladies, if you're into a certain type of guy, you got to understand what he's interested in and ask yourself if you fall into that criteria. Because often we tend to assume that just because we're interested in somebody, that automatically, because you think you are whoever you are, that should automatically mean, why isn't this guy getting with me? What's wrong with him? Oh, these guys are all playing games. Oh, it's all bullshit. Oh, the dating pool, blah, blah, blah. Now, I will say, that last one, I can say, yeah, to some degree. The dating pool is kind of shitty. It is. But you have to realize something. You're in that dating pool, so you're not helping the situation. If you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem. You have to recognize that. A lot of people acting like, oh, the dating pool is so trash, not realizing that they're a part of the trash in the dating pool. You have to recognize to take that accountability and say, okay, how can I turn this shit into Shinola? How can I flip this? Because people are doing it. Relationships are successful. People are having a good time dating out here. I know I do. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But you have to figure out what works for you. Like me, I had to do soul searching for myself to find my own lane in which I function best in. I realized at one point I was trying to date in certain circles, that didn't make sense to me to try and date it. So you know what I did? I said, let me use my brain. Instead of beating my head against that same brick wall, what did I do? I slid over here. As soon as I did that, man, it was smooth like butter, baby. That's how it is. Like, you have to figure out what it is that's going to work for you. Because the same dating tactics that this one's using isn't going to work for this one. That's why I make things formulaic, because math is the universal language. And it doesn't matter what you apply math to, math will always be valid. The math has to math. And a lot of times, we as people fail to take that into consideration when we're dating and wonder why we're struggling. Use, like, honestly, as a man, if you're even somewhat viable and you're having dating issues, something is legit wrong with you. And the reason why I say that is because for the fellas, realize this: the numbers in most um, heavy populated demographics is at least 8 to 1, if not higher. I mean, you got places like Atlanta where it's like fucking 30 to 1, like Jesus, or something like that. Even in New York City, I think it's about 10 or 12 to 1. If you, with those odds in your favor, are having difficulty finding suitable partnership, you're likely just looking in the wrong places. It's nothing to do with, oh, it's just these women or blah, 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 blah. And granted, yes, there are some women who are full of it and a lot of women getting their own way and all that, but the same can be said for the men too. A lot of people get in their own way. That's a fact. And that's okay, because it's called fuck them and move on. That's all. It's nothing complicated about it. You just have to realize, if you're going to do something to that effect, where you want to stop having the dating rut that you're having, that you want to be able to make a phone call, and if you're going somewhere interesting, have someone to actually go with, then you have to be mindful of the fact that that's going to require you, number one thing, social skills. Most of us have taken a dip in our social skills. Now, me, as a personal level, I'm very outgoing. I'll speak to anybody, talk to anybody, anywhere. I have no problem communicating with people. I still rather the phone than texting. When people want to text me to death, eh, I'll see it now, maybe respond later. That's just how it is. Why? It's not personal. It's just, well, I guess it is it's a preference of mine, but I'm not doing it to personally scathe anybody. It's just I have no interest in in texting somebody back and forth all day. Like, I'm busy. When I am doing my electrical work, my hands are busy. If I'm doing my Uber, my hands are busy. If I'm doing consultations, my hands might not be that busy, but I'm talking with somebody, so I need to pay attention to what they're talking about. So I'm not texting at that time. If I'm doing my schoolwork, my hands are busy on this here laptop. So understand something. It will always work. And the thing is, I'm a very ambitious person. A lot of women like ambitious, business minded, successful individuals. Hi, my name's Maximus. How you doing? I'm that guy. But my thing is, if you want that kind of person, you have to understand the side effects that go with that. That means don't be texting my phone to death. Send me a text. You want to say good morning? That's cool. But don't try to have a whole conversation with somebody via text. Like, one thing I learned about myself, and I'm gonna talk about me because my show. Hi. Um, I am very sapio. I like conversations. I like connections. Like, to the point, if I got a choice between who I'm gonna do something with, I'm more than likely gonna pay attention to the person who's been giving me phone conversation and stimulating my mind, in comparison to the person who's just been texting me, even if she is the one with the bigger ass and bigger titties. Why? Because that mind stimulation is just something about that gets my juices going, that gets everything fired up. It's just, it's a thing for me. And believe it or not, a lot of people are like that. And because people fail to understand the importance of this level of communication, they often tend to find themselves struggling in dating, struggling in struggling in life, struggling in your career. Because the reality is, another reason I have a lot of connects I have on the business side, the reason why I run my consultation business, P2P, you'll see me market it somewhat on here, but I don't expect much from it because the people on Facebook tend to act a little weird or they're a little iffy or whatever. Some of them will say to me, "Oh, Maximus, but you're single. How are you giving relationship advice?" I said, "A mathematician is a mathematician. It doesn't matter on what he's doing with that math at the moment. If he knows what the fuck he's talking about, he knows what he's talking about." And that's something with me. Now, those that have sat down with me, and thank you to those who have supported my business and have spent their good hard earned money, and I've definitely made it worth their while. I appreciate that. And my thing is I am so grateful for my P2P business because it all comes together because I'm outgoing, because I'll speak to people. I'll tell them, "Oh, yeah, when I do such and such and such," they look like, "Oh, really?" Da-da-da. Then as they're talking to me and they're listening to my mind, they're listening to my thoughts, they're listening to my perspectives, and they're looking like, "Wow, you do have some very interesting perspectives." Or, "Wow, I didn't really look at it that way." Or, "Wow, such and such and such and such and such." They'll realize, on top of the fact that I am empathic, so I'm able to pick up on people's feelings and emotions, put those things together, and I'm a shoo-in for that shit. Why am I not married yet? Because I've chosen not to be married. I could get married tomorrow if I wanted to. And that's not even an exaggeration. I could. I know exactly where I could go. I know exactly what I could say and do to do that. Not doing that there because the secret to really knowing how to be successful is not just knowing what to do right. Anybody can get lucky and just happen that it did right. But it's also knowing what not to get into because you know that that's not going to end the way you want it to. So I could, just to prove that I'm whatever, I could say, "Oh, yeah, I got married to whoever and now I can tell y'all everything." Okay. Considering that the divorce rate is like what, 60 something percent. I'm sorry, but that's not really encouraging me to want to, based on the numbers. Remember, I spoke about numbers from earlier. Based on the numbers, that's not encouraging me to be like, "Okay, well, I'd much rather go with this one because even though their marriage has a 60% chance of failing," which if I think something has a 60% chance of failing, I'm not investing in it that much. Me, I'm the kind of person you want to listen to because I know when to get in, I know when to get out, and I'll know when it's time to really stay because I've stepped carefully through this dating atmosphere. I've had a myriad of experiences in different cultures and different walks of life, different financial brackets, all of that stuff. The only thing I ain't did was, I'm a heterosexual man, so I never crossed the other street, and I don't plan to. But other than that, I have done pretty much every other thing there is to do. I've done lifestyle dating. I've done vanilla dating. I've done in between dating. I've done it all. My experience is the experience that I have. And between that and counseling over 1,100 people throughout my years doing this shit, I'd say I have enough requisite information to give a pretty valid opinion on things. There's very few things somebody could walk up to me with and tell me as a scenario that have actually legit surprised me. Even if I did act surprised, it really wasn't that surprised, you know. So anyway, like I said, in this dating marketplace, it is very important. It is so important to understand where you stand. Like me, if I want a woman of a certain type, I gotta put myself in a position to get that type of person. I gotta know where that person is or that type of person may be, and then put myself in position to be there so that I can go hunting. With women, same thing, except y'all don't have to hunt so much as be in the right place at the right time and maybe show a little bit of interest. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go hard, but you got to show some interest just to let that man know that you're paying attention. And for my fellas, another thing, stop gassing these girls up. Because a mistake that I see is a lot of dudes run up in the woman's inbox and they're in there and they're messaging and messaging, even when the woman's not responding to them. They're messaging and messaging. And it's like, in the back of this woman's mind, she's saying, even if this guy over here is annoyed with me being a texter and not really wanting to talk, but somehow wanting to form a connection with somebody without actually talking, don't know how that makes sense, but okay, we'll go with that for a minute. So let's say you're woman A, and you're like, oh, well, guy B wants to talk to me, but he wants to talk on the phone, and I'm not really trying to talk on the phone like that, but I'll send him a text, whatever. He can let me know when we go out, and then, we could talk then. Let's say you go with that. Fast forward, never really talk like that. A couple of texts, blah, blah, blah. All right, time to link up. Y'all link up, right? So this is where it's funny. So then he picks you up, 7:30, 8 o'clock, brings you to this restaurant. It's a sushi spot. Oh shit, but you're allergic to seafood. And he has reservation. Damn, now you gotta do a whole redirect because y'all never talked to get to know each other to realize, oh shit, she's allergic to seafood and you brought her to a seafood restaurant. That's not gonna work. This is the kind of dumb shit that happens on dates. Believe it or not, this really happens. I've literally sat and had to listen to this, and I'm just like, ugh. Because I'm like, this is dating 101. I'm sure most of the people that are going to see this are going to be like, but how did he know that? He didn't tell her where they were going? No. You will be surprised how many times. So you might be like, okay, we're going to go to this restaurant and go eat. It's a nice spot, nice ambiance. You tell them that, oh, it's a rooftop spot, blah, blah, blah. Oh, nice. Okay, okay. Then when you get there, realize it's a whole sushi thing. Because they're there. New York City has it. And when I was told that one in particular, I literally just facepalmed the fuck out of myself. I just was like, these are just avoidable situations. Or even one better, you try to be a gentleman, you bring this girl lilies. I know you bring her roses. Come to find out, she has a serious pollen allergy, and flowers are making her sneeze like crazy. Oh shit! Gotta throw the whole $50 bouquet of flowers out the window now because you didn't know she was allergic to flowers. Practical issues that you can have just because you didn't properly communicate beforehand. These things are real things that happen, and they happen very often because people are lazy and people don't like to communicate, but they want things to go their way. I don't understand that at all. So, advice number one in this dating atmosphere, ask yourself, do I want to just link up and go on a date? Or am I actually trying to make a connection? That's what you have to ask yourself first. Also, in the matter of connections, ladies, if you're mad because the man picks you up on a date and he's focused on smashing, what else did you if you're one of these texters, because I know everybody's not that, but if you're one of these texters and all you've been doing is texting most of the time, you barely have any connection. You're not forming connections via text message, people. It's not happening. Stop. If you're trying to form a legit connection, you gotta pick up the phone. It ain't hard. You pick up the phone, you make a call. Holy shit, it works. Oh damn, we're talking. Oh, this is fire. Oh, oh yeah, yo, you mad? Cool. Okay, I can see myself going out with you. It's gonna be fun. We got mad jokes. Whatever. Now you're excited. You got something to look forward to. Oh, I like the roller skate too. Word. Fuck it, man. Yo, we could go over here, grab a little bike, go over to the roller rink, blah, 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 blah. You might even find something really niche and goofy that you both really like. Because when you're flowing in a conversation, I know that's a big word for a lot of people in 2024. Conversation. Use it. You need to use your mouth for things other than eating and going down on somebody. You need to use your mouthpiece first to get to know somebody if you're trying to form legit connections. Because if you're not doing that, you are setting yourself up for failure. A lot of you, like I said, you text beast, will be mad at a man who, when he links up with you, is focused on smashing, like I was saying before. And of course, that's a thing. You know why that's a thing? Because you don't talk to him. So all he got to go on is the pictures that you sent him and some text message bullshit, which is no real connection. So, being that men are naturally physical creatures anyway, we're going to lean towards the default setting. Default setting is we want to smash if we want to smash, and that's what we're focused on. And we'll just go through the process to get to the point of smashing. Now, if you want something with a little bit more meat in it, a little bit more substance, you gotta pick up the fucking phone. I can't emphasize. And then when you're on the date, you take this phone, turn this son bitch over, and you lay it down and you focus on each other. Talk. There's no reason why you're on a date and you're on the phone. You know why that happens too? Because you didn't form any connections prior to going on this date. Like, there are some beautiful women that are in my phone book that I have met at all types of events. Because anybody that follows me knows I go to events of all different types of levels. And I have met some really fire ass females. And you know what? I got nowhere with them. And you know why? Because they never wanted to talk on the phone. They wanted these text messages. I'll call them like once or twice. And they didn't really return the call. They gave me bullshit story. Oh, I'll be busy, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Next. Her loss, not mine. Because I'll give you a little secret, especially for y'all who are in this dating marketplace seeking to be wives, seeking to be mothers. And please, can we normalize getting married before we have kids? And I say this as a person who did have a child out of wedlock. But I want to have a better example. I want things to go better than they have in the past. I want people to do better than I have. I want you to do as good as me. I want you to do better. And the thing is, I find it crazy that we will have a child with somebody. But if I said, will you marry that person? They'd be like, hell no. But you had a baby with them. Having a baby with them is way deeper a commitment than marriage. You could pay somebody to a lawyer and get a divorce and be done with it. Fucking a baby, once they're here, they're here. That's a forever connection. I don't understand why this is not taken more seriously, but it legit is a thing that is not taken more serious. And I say, first things first, let's not even discuss child birth or children until there's an engagement ring in the equation. Then you can start planning for, okay, after we get married, we can have a kid or two and blah, 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 blah. The reason why I'm bringing up the kid thing is because when it comes to women, and this is no knock, but this is biological, time is not on your side. So, with that being said, there's not a whole lot of time that you have to be in your healthy birthing years. I know people will say, oh, people having children in their 50s. Those people are super rich most of the time. And most of y'all are not even halfway rich. You will not have the resources that they have in order to make that successful. So I wish people will stop using outliers as an example for the general rules. The general rule is between these years of, I mean, you can have a child as young as some people, 13, but we're not going to do that. We're going to start from adult years and say, from the age of, let's say you went to college and all that, 22, 23 to about 39, maybe 40 are really your healthiest birthing years. After that, you start going into high risk mode. So, if you want to have children and have marriage, you need to be moving within a certain time frame, which again means that you need to be aware of what's in this dating marketplace so that you can understand what it is that you need to do in order to acquire the partner that you are seeking. And then ask yourself, um, if the partner you are seeking, ask yourself this, if the partner you are seeking is a person who's going to match up to the things that you want, are you going to fit into their equation? Because you can seek out whatever you want, but if you're seeking out a type that typically isn't checking for you, you're setting yourself up for a loss. I like to go by the motto, and one of my friends used to say this all the time because he goes by this. This is his dating thing. He will say, hey, I like who likes me, and I pick from that. So basically, no, he's not just getting with any old person that likes him. No, that's ridiculous. But he looks at who likes him, and then of those says, oh, all right, which one of these people fits best with what I want? And then I take it from there. And that's how he goes about it. I find that to be a valid way to do it because now you're setting yourself up for a win. Because at the end of the day, when you're dating, you don't want to lose. Like nobody comes out here, wakes up in the morning and says, gee, I feel like taking an L today. Nobody does that. We come out here, we expect to have a successful dating circumstance. Now, I have a little challenge for those that see this video. For all of you who say, oh, there's no good men out here. First of all, yes, there is, because I'm out here and I'm damn good. Yes, I'm that damn good. Yup, yup. And I said it. And I challenge anybody to prove me otherwise. My thing is that it's not that they aren't out here. It's that you aren't drawing those type of men. Or you do have those type of men, but you didn't acknowledge them because you were busy running behind dumb fuck. One over here, toxic one over there, or whatever. It's fine. It's okay. Don't worry. I'm here for you. That's why I'm here. because it's a safe space. We can get through this together. And the first thing I'm gonna tell you is check your inbox. Check your inbox. Because I guarantee if you check your inbox, there's probably out of all the stupid messages you receive, there's probably at least a couple of messages from respectable, viable individuals. What an inbox can mean your dating profile, your text message, your Facebook Messenger, whatever. Go through all of that. And I almost guarantee you have a couple of viable candidates that you either left on red because you were preoccupied with something else, or you just didn't even see because you were busy doing something else. I guarantee you the majority of you have that sitting there somewhere. And I know someone who's like, no, well, I don't happen to. Okay, sure you don't. When you see that you are often having a problem and it's consistently happening in your circumstances, that often means that you likely are the problem to some degree. Like when I saw I was having a problem, I realized it's something to do with me. In my case, I said it's my choices. I said I need to change my search parameters. I need to change what it is and what criteria I'm looking for in order to find suitable partners. And the moment I did that, guess what? It got smooth as silk. It's easy. So I know if I can do it, as many beautiful women as I have on my Facebook, and I see a lot of them are single or whatever the case may be, or they got some fucked up relationship. Time to shed that. And that's another thing. A lot of you waste your dating marketplace value. Do you understand? Let me say something to you. I had to shake the computer for this because I'm not excited. Let me say something to you. Time is the most valuable commodity in this universe. It is the one thing that we cannot create. Once it is gone, that shit is gone forever. Stop wasting your time with people that are not suitable for you. That's another reason why when you get in this dating marketplace, your values for shit because you're so scorned from wasting so much time with whatever individual that by the time you got out of that, you were so loaded up with toxic energy that now you didn't want to be bothered with nobody. Why? Let it go. There's plenty more fish in the sea. And if this one ain't swimming your way, you gotta let that shit go. Stop trying to force a square peg into a round hole. Lord knows that happens in the lifestyle community more times than I can count. I see a lot of lopsided couples in there. I'm gonna be nice and not specify that today. Well, no, fuck that shit. I'm gonna say it a little bit because in that community where we have so many couples, and it's a beautiful thing because I'm friends with a lot of different couples, some dope couples out there. Um, but to some of them, where it's not a dynamic choice, it's literally imprisonment. Where whether it's you as the man who has a girlfriend and you're running roughshod through the whole community, fucking everything that moves. But when your girl wants to get into some action, you're like, nah, 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 you can't do nothing. Ladies, if you sit in situations like that, you're a fool. It's one thing if it's your choice to say, oh no, I'm only interested in girls and I'm not messing with no guys. Okay. If that's honestly, and be honest, because you can lie to us, but you can't lie to yourself. Is it really what you want to do, or are you doing that because this guy is too insecure to see you getting in any extracurricular action? Meanwhile, he's up here humping Tom, Dick, Harry, and or Well, actually, not Tom, Dick, and Harry. He's up there fucking Cassandra, Renee, and Lisa. You understand what I'm saying? Meanwhile, you can't get up on no Tom, Dick, or Harry. If you're in one of these situations, you need to let that shit the fuck go. But I love him. Really? Well, clearly they don't love you the way you love them because why would they put such restrictions on you while you let them fly free? A relationship is supposed to be a fun, freeing, life fulfilling experience. It's not supposed to feel like you get in a relationship and you're behind bars. You're not supposed to feel more restricted. It's supposed to be the most elating and free feeling experience. You're supposed to be able to be the best and most truest version of yourself. If you have to restrict yourself in order to be in a certain relationship situation, that relationship not for you. So my advice to those, cut the dead weight, move on. There's plenty of other ones out here, ones that'll fit your criteria, ones that'll be perfectly fine with all the extra little activities you might want to do. So take that into consideration. Look at your partner and say, are we really compatible? If he looks at you and he says, oh, what do you mean by that? Be like, well, you know that I have these appetites and we're in this community. And I've always been supportive of your actions and whatever. But I feel like you always restrict me, and I feel like that's unfair because I want to engage too. I want to experience some different things too. And I don't feel like, even though I have hopes that we could do this together, I feel like that's never going to really happen because I don't feel like you're comfortable with me acting in the same way that you act. How I could let you be perfectly fine doing whatever it is that you want to do. I feel like that same thing is not coming back my way. Okay. And at that point, he has a decision to make. Is he going to give it a chance and say, hey, let me let you out there and see what happens? Or is he going to say, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to continue to ignore your wishes, and either you could stay or you could go. If they ever put you in that position, you already know what you need to do. You know exactly what you need to do at that point. Now, again, I need y'all to take something else into consideration. There's too many circumstances as to which I see people, I see them lie to each other. Like, you have this perspective, you have this aspect, you have this thing that you want to do. But you know what you did? Instead of saying, you know what, Matt, this is really how I want to be. I want to be, let's say the girl's like, I want to have I want to have you here for whatever purposes I have you here for, but I do still want to have other things from you as well. And you'll look and say, hmm, what do you mean? Oh, well, I want to get with you. I want to date you, but I also have a lot of other things I want to do over here. Okay, now that's a conversation with me because I'm transparent. In a lot of other situations, people will be like, "Oh no, I want this to be about me and you," or "Oh, I want this to be about us," and blah 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 blah. And then you get with them, and it's only about you. That's not right either, because you can't tell people that you want to have one thing and then offer them another. That kind of stuff is going to throw you off. It's going to make it so that there's no way that you could ever hope to have a successful relationship because you're starting it off on a foundation of lies and bullshit. And now we'll swing into how lies and bullshit sometimes is made to feel viable. Some women make you feel like you're better off lying to them. hmm And the reason why I say this is because some women will get, when you keep it 100 with them and you talk to them and you're telling them whatever you're telling them, and they'll get all upset and in their feelings and blah 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 blah. And you're looking at you like, well, goddamn. And then they're the type that'll constantly throw it in your face and use it against you. They are the reason why some men try to justify, this is why I lie, because I tell her the truth. She's gonna do all of this and that and this and that and this, and I don't want to go through all that. So to avoid all of that, I'll do this. Now, on one end, yeah, I could see the validity in that. On the other end, I still say, no, it's still a bad idea. Because at the end of the day, you tell a lie, it's still going to end wrong. That's why, from what I do and with my experience, and what I always advise to people is be honest. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself as far as knowing what it is that is your red flags, what it is that you're doing wrong that possibly could be better in said relationships. What could you do differently? Because I feel like a lot of times people don't ask themselves that. They don't ask themselves, what is it that I could do differently? What is it that I could say that would actually make me have a better dating experience? You have to ask yourself these questions because if you're not doing this and you're struggling in your dating, and understand something, women don't get gas. Just because you collecting phone numbers, dudes is in your inbox. Yeah, a lot of these dudes will date you as far as they'll take you out so they can fuck. That is not the same as them being them looking at you as a viable partner. There's a difference. We all know that women want partners most of the time. That's what they desire. Us men want that too, but we go about that in a different way. Women are the ones, the driving force behind wanting to have a partner. So if you function under that kind of parameter, understand that you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to self eval so that you can be the best version of yourself possible. And you have to be willing to be honest. Be critical of yourself. Not hypocritical, but critical. There's a difference. Those are two completely different words. For just in case some people are gonna be like, wait a minute, those don't mean yes, that's the point. I want y'all to do this homework. Looking at inboxes. Hell, somebody I ended up seeing for a good little while, had a great relationship with them. And even to this day, we have a good friendship. It didn't work out for other reasons, but that's a part of dating. But I still got a great relationship with them, still got a great friendship with them. And I found them in my message request because I didn't see that I got that message request because I don't always check it. It's a mistake. I try to check it now. But I guarantee you, somewhere in there, there's a viable partner. There is. Somewhere right under your nose. Somebody that you have spoken to directly at one time or another. High probability that one of them is that viable partner you've been wanting. But because you're not paying attention, you haven't given them that chance. And therefore, this whole shit is just continuing to drag on. So do that. Look into that. I am also going to say I'm open for consultations. My schedule's very tight though, so you have to hit me up and schedule a date and time in advance. In order to do that, I require 50% of the total pay as a deposit. If you cancel before, um, if you cancel more than 24 hours ahead of time, you can get your deposit back. But other than that, nah, because I could have put somebody else in that slot. So hit me up if you're looking for counsel, if you want to counsel on some other stuff. And I'll tell you this, I know people in higher levels of therapy too than even what I do, because I do consultations. I help people out with their relationships and so on and so forth, give them some advice on life and love and all of that. But if you need something a little higher, referrals can be made because I want all of you that watch this, all of you that are even in the vicinity of hearing my voice or whatever, I want you all to win. The only way you win, the only way that you're going to win is by doing the proper work and understanding what it is you want versus what it is that's available and what it is that is reachable for you. When you master this, you will see that dating for you has become a real piece of cake. So, with that being said, thank you for watching. I wish you well. Enjoy your 4th of July. Anybody having a barbecue, hit me up. Maybe I'll pull up. Maybe I'll pull up. You know what I'm saying? I do have something to do tomorrow, but I might slide to a barbecue before I pull up there. You know what I'm saying? Say hi for a minute. But anyway, that being said, my inbox is open for business. Ladies, the inbox is always open for the personal stuff too, but it's more business than anything else. Um, I do want to do a female panel one of these days. So, because once I finish, I'm almost done. I'm at the capstone project at school, so I'm almost finished. And then I'll be going back to scheduled podcast shows, which will be Tuesdays at 9 p.m. That'll be my regular scheduled time like it was before. And I will do that once I finish with this. Until then, I'm only going to show up sporadically just to share knowledge whenever I can, share my perspectives. Anyway, appreciate y'all for watching. Enjoy your 4th. Enjoy your weekend and be safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And stay blessed. Peace.